There's an unsettling urban legend that continues to haunt the hearts of those who have encountered it. The black-eyed children. Descriptions of these children are chillingly consistent. Pale, emotionless, and dressed in outdated or drab clothing, with eyes that are completely black, void of iris or sclera. Their presence is often accompanied by a sense of dread, and those who have met them say they felt an inexplicable fear that cannot be easily shaken. The black-eyed children usually appear in pairs, often between the ages of 6 and 16. They approach people in isolated locations, cars, homes, or deserted streets, asking for help. They want a ride home, to use the bathroom, or to come inside and use the phone. The requests seem innocent, even polite, but something in the air feels wrong, and the moment one locks eyes with these children, the terror begins. It was late one night at a rural gas station, and an attendant named Richard was working the graveyard shift. It was quiet, just the faint hum of fluorescent lights and the occasional gust of wind rattling the windows. Then he saw them, 2 kids standing outside the glass doors, staring at him. They knocked, and Richard, unnerved by their sudden appearance, opened the door slightly. The children, a boy and a girl, looked ordinary at first glance, except for their old-fashioned clothes. Then Richard noticed their eyes. "We need to use the phone," the boy said in a flat, monotonous tone. Richard's heart raced. Something about those eyes, deep, black voids, made him instinctively recoil. He mumbled an excuse about the phone being out of order, but the children insisted, pressing forward. "We can't come in unless you let us," the girl added. Her voice was soft, but empty, devoid of the playfulness one would expect from a child. Richard slammed the door and backed away. The children stood there, staring for what felt like an eternity before finally turning and vanishing into the night. In another account, a woman named Emily was alone at home late one evening when she heard a soft knock at her door. She peered through the peephole to see 2 young boys standing on her porch, both around 10 years old, staring blankly at her door. "We're lost. Can we come inside to call our mum?" one of the boys asked when she cautiously opened the door a crack. Emily was immediately struck by their strange appearance, pale, almost sickly, with dark, lifeless eyes that sent shivers down her spine. The longer she stood there, the more anxious she felt. She couldn't understand why, but every instinct told her to close the door. She apologized and quickly shut it, retreating to her bedroom. When she dared to look outside a few minutes later, the boys were gone, as if they had never been there. There is something deeply unsettling and spiritually charged about these encounters. Many who have met the black-eyed children describe a pervasive sense of evil that feels almost supernatural, reminiscent of the presence of demonic forces. Some have speculated that these children are not human at all, but are instead spiritual entities, perhaps demonic manifestations that prey on fear, loneliness, and the vulnerability of the unsuspecting. In Christian theology, the Bible speaks of beings that disguise themselves as innocuous, only to lead others astray. For Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light, 2 Corinthians 11:14, suggesting that evil does not always appear monstrous. It can wear the guise of innocence, drawing closer until it finds a way in. Some believe that the black-eyed children could be a modern manifestation of such spiritual deception, a test of discernment, or a reminder of the unseen battle between light and darkness. Their need for permission to enter could echo the biblical principle that evil cannot trespass without consent. Just as in the accounts of vampires who must be invited inside, there is a chilling parallel that points to the spiritual truth that our choices, what we allow into our lives, have profound consequences. These encounters serve as more than just ghost stories. They remind us of the biblical warning to guard our hearts and our homes, to be vigilant and discerning of the spirits that we let in. The black-eyed children might be another dark whisper of a greater spiritual battle, one that calls us to stand firm in faith, even when the darkness knocks at our door.